Hi, I'm Steve Koski, host of Papa Steve's Rebel 1100 Garage, where we show do-it-yourselfers how to maintain your motorcycle. Let's get greasy. Now that I've installed my Honda Rebel 1100 screen cowl / Batwing Fairing, here is how I would rate it on a variety of criteria using a scale from 1 to 5 motorcycles. My review criteria are installation ease, functionality, handling, safety, aesthetics, and cost. Of course, these are not the only possible criteria. Engineering quality is an example. However, I think engineering quality cuts across the other criteria. These 6 are the criteria I think are most relevant. Installation is not easy. If you haven't yet seen, watch this video before installing the Rebel 1100 Batwing Fairing on my YouTube channel. Take 30 minutes to discover where the installation pitfalls are. My video makes it look like I put Honda's Batwing Fairing on my Rebel 1100 in about 30 minutes, but in reality it took more than 12 hours. I admit that I was also shooting video as I did the installation. That slowed me down. Even so, I needed several do-overs, partly because of my lack of experience and partly because of unclear installation instructions. I think the screen cowl / Batwing Fairing is over-engineered. For instance, why does the screen cowl stay have steel rods that need to be inserted into mount rubbers in the upper triple tree cross member? The stay is secured to the motorcycle forks by 4 torqued down hex bolts anyway. Steel rods with mount rubbers seem redundant. Or why do hex screws threaded into well nuts need to be torqued, especially when those torque values are too small to be set using a torque tool that do-it-yourselfers might actually have in their toolbox? But I'm reluctant to fault Honda very much for engineering that's overly robust. When I owned my Suzuki Boulevard S50, I put a classic Memphis Slim windscreen on it. The installation took about an hour and consisted of attaching 2 attractive chrome supports to the front fork tubes. Then the windshield clicked into place onto quick-release supports. I rate the Batwing Fairing installation ease 2 motorcycles. I'm 5 foot 10 inches tall. The Batwing Fairing does an admirable job of deflecting the wind pressure away from my chest. Also, I like the vented design, which reduces turbulence behind the windscreen by offsetting the low pressure that would normally be created by the airfoil effect. I don't feel much helmet buffering at legal speeds with the fairing installed. I've taken the bike up to 90 miles per hour. Helmet buffering while I'm wearing my Sedici Strada 2 increases a bit above 70 miles per hour, but it's not intolerable. However, I catch too much air under my chin at highway speeds. The breeze will probably be welcome during warm weather, but it's unpleasant during the winter months. Also, I get more bug splatter on my face shield now than I did without the fairing. Another problem is that the fairing doesn't deflect air away from your hands because it's not wide enough to cover the hand grips. I taped several lengths of ribbon around the windscreen to see where the air goes. Then I took the Batwing Fairing for a ride to find out what airflow looks like up to 90 miles per hour. Here's the video. "30 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour, 80 miles per hour, 90 miles per hour. The GoPro was mounted on my chest, so the ribbons look more upward than they actually are. But you can see that the ribbons react very consistently across all speeds from 30 miles per hour to 90 miles per hour. Except they flap more aggressively at higher speeds, as you would expect. I think the windshield is 4 inches too short and 6 inches too narrow to adequately deflect air over and around the rider. Similarly, the fairing needs to be 6 inches wider to protect the rider's hands. I rate functionality 3 motorcycles. Handling is smooth with the fairing installed. The windshield, batwing, and screen cowl stay probably add less than 10 pounds to the front fork. I wish I had weighed the assembly before I installed it so I could give you a more accurate number. The heaviest part is the screen cowl stay, the steel mount that attaches the fairing and windscreen to the triple tree. Even so, I don't believe the stay weighs more than 5 pounds. The polycarbonate windscreen and plastic fairing combined don't weigh as much as the stay. Consequently, the Rebel 1100 doesn't get front heavy with the fairing attached, so the motorcycle stays nimble and easy to handle. Also, I detected no speed wobble up to 90 miles per hour. I rate handling 5 motorcycles. Part of the reason for installing a fairing is to improve rider safety. Stuff flies at you off the road whether you're in a car or on a motorcycle. I lived in Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey before moving to California 5 years ago. I've never had so much to try to smack my car windshield as I have since moving to the Golden State. You might not believe this, but it's true. Driving back to Pleasant Hill from Vacaville on a 6-lane freeway, I once had to swerve to avoid a 5-pound fish bouncing down the road in my lane. Fortunately, it didn't hit my windshield. My point is, having a shield between you and the random projectiles that come at you at highway speed is a safety feature. The bug splatter on my face shield tells me that a random projectile, denser than a bug, has a pretty good chance of missing the windscreen and smacking my helmet. The windscreen would be safer if it were larger. I rate safety 3 motorcycles. The design of the Batwing itself is visually pleasing. However, the fairing/windshield combination seems too small for the look of the bike. The Rebel 1100 has a robust, beefy look to it, even though the motorcycle only weighs about 500 pounds. Honda's fairing and windscreen remind me of an undersized bikini cup covering an enticingly ample breast. The look is beguiling at the beach, but not so desirable given a road speed-induced wind chill. The half-hearted screen cowl undermines the robust, beefy look of the Rebel 1100. I rate the aesthetics 4 motorcycles. I spent $330 for the classic look of the Memphis Slim windscreen on my Suzuki Boulevard S50. However, my Memphis Slim didn't include a fairing. Honda's fairing is more elegant but closer to $600. That's probably about right for a windshield plus fairing. I would have put a Memphis Shades or National Cycle windshield on my Rebel 1100, but they weren't available. You might want to consider aftermarket brands like Puig or GV. I rate cost 5 motorcycles. I would be happier with the windscreen if it were 4 inches wider and 6 inches taller to deflect the airstream over my helmet. Likewise, the fairing would be more useful if it were wide enough to deflect airflow around the hand grips. The Memphis Slim was a quick release windshield that you could remove in less than a minute by releasing 2 locks. It also has adjustable angles. The Rebel 1100 Batwing would be better if it had similar features. Finding the average of my ratings, the Rebel 1100 Batwing/Screen Cowl earns a score of 3.67. If this were a letter grade using a 5-point scale, the grade would be a C+. Honda is underachieving. I hope you found this video helpful. I'd be delighted if you would subscribe to Papa Steve's Rebel 1100 Garage. If you don't, I'll be just another codger talking to himself on the internet.